Steering Committee of Abia Pensioners Forum. And this is the third in the series. And the issue is that the promises of His Excellency, the Governor of Abia State, Dr. Alex Otti, in 2015, 2019, 2023, during his electioneering campaigns, have remained unfulfilled. And those promises were as regards the arrears of pension and gratuity of pensioners in Abia State. 3 years after this administration came into office, the situation has remained the same. In fact, this is more than 3 years, getting to the 4th year. So we want to actually update ladies and gentlemen of the press, especially in the light of developments and particularly as regards the last media chat of His Excellency. So the briefing is actually documented, which is our usual practice. And at the end of the day, we are going to give each of you a copy. So let me just go through our text in order not to kill our time so much. And it reads, we captioned it, "From campaign rhetorics to governance reality, the experience of Abia State pensioners." Gentlemen of the press, the Steering Committee of Abia Pensioners Forum welcomes you to today's press briefing. It is the third in the series and is aimed at updating you on the continued plight of pensioners in Abia State, vis-a-vis the continued refusal by the state government, as represented by His Excellency Governor Alex Otti, OFR, to fulfill her several promises in this regard. That the governor during his electioneering campaigns in 2015, 2019, 2023, repeatedly and assuredly promised to clear the arrears of pension and gratuity of Abia State pensioners if elected into office is no longer news. That as at May 2023, arrears of pension were as high as 60 months, depending on the year of retirement. And that gratuity was officially paid last in the state as far back as 2002. These are all, they are not news. Recall that these retirement benefits are the constitutional rights of each pensioner pursuant to Section 210 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, hereinafter called the Constitution. Thus, these retirement benefits are not mere gratis from government. Indeed, they are deductions from our remuneration while still in the active service of Abia State government, expected to be paid back to us as pension and gratuity upon retirement. Governor Alex Otti did not only promise to clear these retirement benefits if elected into office, he, in addition, did not spare Governor Okezi Bazo of very severe criticism for lacking empathy on pensioners and for sending them to their early grave for failure to pay them. Indeed, in his open letter to Governor Okezi Bazo, as published in the Daily Post newspaper of 12th July 2018, Sunday Sun newspaper of 15th July 2018, copy attached, and the Sunday Vanguard newspaper of 15th July 2018, Governor Alex Otti roundly deprecated, condemned, lambasted, and derided Governor Ibazu for this, quoting copiously from the Bible and the Quran. Further, he accused Governor Okezi Ibazu of failing to make use of the Paris Club refund and bailout fund as made available by the federal government to offset these retirement benefits. Below are excerpts from the said open letter as reported by the said newspapers. The bold and underlinings in the quoted paragraphs were supplied for emphasis. According to Governor Alex Otti, quote, that he's addressing Governor he said, my brother, my dear brother, facts on ground show that other civil servants are presently owed up to 10 months salary arrears, while pensioners are owed up to 16 months pension arrears. I do not intend to delve into the issues of leave allowances and gratuity, which are also as neglected as salary and pension. Unquote. He said again, quote, facts available show that the situation has become very critical and pathetic, unquote. As at when Governor Bazo's tenure ended in May 2023, arrears of pension had gone up to 60 months for pensioners, depending on the year of retirement. The issue of gratuity was never mentioned in any discussion by that administration. Now, continuing, Governor Alex Otti stated thus, quote, like me, I am sure you must have read or been informed of series of reports, now underlined, concerning the untimely and avoidable deaths of other civil servants and pensioners who had need to take care of their health, but had no money because government chose to owe them unjustly, unquote. Quote again, he said, I do not just read this sad situation only in the newspapers and on social media. I get text messages and calls that are painful and very pathetic, and which convince me that the situation has indeed taken a dangerous dimension and thus must not be allowed to continue, unquote. Now we said, if in 2018 pensioners were subjected to, quote and unquote, untimely and avoidable deaths, in 2026 they are buried alive due to the spiral effect of subsidy removal and other excruciating economic factors. Between 2018 and 2026, the value of Naira has gone down by more than 300%. Now, Governor Alex Otti continued, quote, I will not want to bandy figures of Abia's statutory monthly allocations for the state and the 17 local governments, internally generated revenues, and oil derivation funds. Then underline, but I do know that there have been more than enough to execute monumental projects, as well as pay Abia workers and pensioners up to date if your government had managed such resources with high sense of frugality and responsibility, unquote. Now we said, in the same vein, sequel to subsidy removal, the monthly statutory allocation to states increased by more than 500%. Till date, pensioners were not paid the allowance arising from subsidy removal, aimed at cushioning its effect. Also, there was minimum wage review in 2023 arising from the subsidy removal, but pensioners in the state were not remembered. Indeed, Section 210, subsection 3 of the Constitution provides that, quote, pensions shall be reviewed every 5 years, or together with any state civil service salary reviews, whichever is earlier, unquote. Thus, the meager monthly pension has remained as it was since more than 20 years ago. It explains why some pensioners, as of today, receive as little as 2,000 Naira as monthly pension. Most unfortunate. Now, Governor Otti went further to query Governor Okezie Ikpeazu as follows. Quote, is it not such a provocative tragedy of immense proportion that the state under your watch received little over 30 billion Naira in bailout fund and parade club refunds from the federal government? Then I underline this. And yet, could not pay salaries or clear the pension arrears, even when the government repeatedly assured it would do so. This is our fate today. Governor Otti wondered if without the Bella Fund and Parade Club refunds, the state government under Governor Ibazu would have owed more. That is also our question. He deprecated the insinuation that Governor Ibazu intended to clear the arrears for purposes of his 2019 re-election and described this as, quote and unquote, selfish political strategy, unquote, which would only, quote again, increase the number of deaths arising from hunger and sickness due to prolonged non-payment of salary arrears. It is only the living that can vote, unquote. Now he resorted to the Bible. Quoting from 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 18, Governor Alex Otti stated that the Bible reminds us that, quote, we should not muzzle the ox while he treads out the grain, and that the laborer is worthy of his wages, unquote. Now, according to Governor Alex Otti, God went further to sound angrier, as if he was referring to the case of Abia workers and pensioners, when he warned in James 5, verse 4, thus, quote, look, the wages where you failed to pay the workers who moved your fields are crying against you. The cries of the harvesters have reached the ears of the Lord Almighty, unquote. These were quotations from His Excellency Governor Alex Otti to the then Governor Ibazu. Now, not yet done. Governor Alex Otti resorted to the Quran, quoting from Sunan Ibn Maha, Colotre 24:43. Thus, the prophet said, that's quote, the prophet said, you should pay the laborer his wages before his sweat dries up. This is very, very profound. Let me repeat it. The prophet said, you should pay the laborer his wages before his sweat dries up. This is from the Quran. Now, continuing, the governor reminded Governor Okezi Bazu of the injunction in Quran 11:85, which says, and oh, my people, give just measure and weight, nor withhold from the people the things that are their due, unquote. Then, as an economist, Governor Alex Otti submitted as follows, quote, my argument on the timely payment of workers' salaries and positive impact of money in circulation on a struggling economy like ours remains valid. Now underline. It therefore follows that the failure of your government to prioritize the payment of workers' salaries and pension arrears hurts the economy of the state, unquote. Now, profoundly, the governor encapsulated the said effects of non-payment of the legitimate entitlements of civil servants and pensioners thus, quote again, one of the most dangerous developments arising from the failure of your government to pay salaries, as has been discovered, is that workers now go about begging, borrowing to sustain their families, only to pay back with interest when they manage to receive the mega salaries behind time. Thus, they are usually left with nothing. The long-term implication of this is that there will be no room for savings and investment. Now underline, because they were indebted with interest, but owed by the government without interest. What an injustice, unquote. And we say this is squarely applicable to the case of pensioners in Abia State. Now, the governor concluded his open letter thus, quote, you can see that the spiral effect of your government's failure to pay Abia workers and pensioners their salaries and pension arrears is horrendous and far-reaching. Therefore, I am appealing to you to have mercy on Abia workers and show some humanity. Now, Abia Pensioners Forum, our forum, hereby adopts verbatim the above treatise of Governor Alex Otti to former Governor Okezi Bazu. All the points raised therein are germane are more relevant today than in 2018 when the letter was written to Governor Okezi Ikpeazu. The Bible enjoins us to practice what we preach. It is very disappointing and indeed an anticlimax that more than 3 years into his administration, Governor Alex Otti has deliberately and consistently refused to practice what he preached to Governor Okezi Ikpeazu concerning the plight of pensioners in the state and the latter's lack of empathy. Most unfortunately, on coming into office, apart from regular payment of monthly pension, which we acknowledge and we are grateful for, the following are the sad experiences of pensioners under this administration. A, unfulfilled promise to clear the arrears of pension and gratuity on or before 31st December 2023. B, unfulfilled promise to clear same on or before 31st March 2024. C, attempt to deliberately deny pensioners their arrears of pension and gratuity via a purported and unlawful waiver or forfeiture of these retirement benefits to government, sequel to an obnoxious memorandum of agreement surreptitiously signed with the leadership of Nigeria Labour Union of Pensioners, Abia State Council. D, unfulfilled promise on 22nd February 2025 to revisit the obnoxious memorandum of agreement. E, erroneous assertion in his media chart of September 2025 that no pensioner in Abia State is owed arrears of pension when the governor has refused to clear same as inherited from past administrations and on which he campaigned. And that reminds me, before I continue, let me at this juncture address what a group that called themselves Forum of Retired Permanent Secretaries. There was this release, which was also read in one of the media outfits, which I had as a commentary. Most unfortunately, in fact, we regard it as they are not informed. And my inquiry has shown that they are the people who were retired in 2023. So they don't know anything about arrears. What is that they say? They said that he has cleared the arrears of pension. And this is total falsehood. As I said, they don't know. These are people who were retired in 2023. They don't have any arrears. We are talking of those who were owed these arrears, which our governor used for his campaigns in 2015, 2019, 2023. So it was an overstatement. In fact, it was out of ignorance that such a statement was made. Now, let me continue, please. Now, F, unfulfilled promise to pay the gratuity on or before the end of March 2026. G, unfulfilled promise to pay the gratuity on or before the end of April 2026. H, unfulfilled promise to pay the gratuity on or before the end of May 2026. I, unfulfilled promise to pay the gratuity on or before the end of July 2026. Gentlemen, you have seen the trajectory. Unfulfilled promise throughout. And the Bible has said you don't even try to promise what you cannot fulfill. It's a sin before God. Now, in his media chart on 23/7/2026, in response to a question from a pensioner on the expectation of pensioners that gratuity will be paid on or before the end of July 2026, as promised, the governor stated that though the money for the payment is sitting in the bank, the payment will start in phases only when the Pensions Board and the Ministry of Finance are able to reconcile their records. Can you imagine that? No empathy. As always, this response was quite discouraging, disheartening, and indefinite. It means that it can even stretch to next year or beyond. What is disturbing is the casual manner the issue is being handled. And what is there to be reconciled, if we may ask? On retirement, every retiree is issued with his or her authorization we must have known what is called authorization. Every pensioner, every retiree must be issued with a authorization letter. This shows that such a person is entitled to monthly pension and gratuity. In the authorization letter, the amount to be paid as pension when divided into 12 months, indicates what the monthly pension should be. The authorization letter also indicates what the gratuity of each pensioner should be, which is a bulk sum payable at once. So, what is there to be reconciled, as these respective amounts cannot be reworked or tampered with? Further, the said two establishments should have the record of whomsoever that is paid at any given time. Now, during the two verifications of pensioners undertaken by the present administration, every pensioner presented his or her authorization letter and was verified. Assuming, without conceding, that there was a case, there are a few cases to be reconciled, why must it affect the entirety of pensioners in the state? The prudent thing would have been to isolate the unreconciled cases and continue work on them, and to pay other pensioners that do not have any case. On the other hand, why can't the Pension Board and Ministry of Finance be given a marching order and deadline to conclude the exercise if government takes this matter seriously? Why can't they be given marching order? And these are establishments under His Excellency. These are establishments under the governor. Moreover, it must be understood that the said establishments are not owing pensioners, but the state government as represented by the governor. Hence, whatever reconciliation that needs to be done must be seen as internal affairs of government. These establishments, they are not owing us. The person or the entity owing us is Abia State government. So if you have any internal issue, we don't know. And we don't want to know. So we should recall that gratuity was last officially paid in 2002. What is the value of the amount as at today? It has depreciated by more than 5,000%, because, as rightly observed by Governor Alex Otti in his said open letter, the money is, quote and unquote, owed by the government without interest. What an injustice. Imagine the money owed to you since 2002. What is the value today? And yet, it is not in sight when the payment will be made. Yet, the same issue is handled cavalierly, as if it is a gift or dash from government. On the contrary, and as stated earlier, pension and gratuity are our money owed to us by government. Government is our debtor. A debtor has no right to tell his or her creditor the conditions under which she will pay. And before I continue, the issue of salaries and pension, including gratuity, they are charged in the consolidated revenue of the state and even of the federal government. In other words, these payments are first-line charge before government does anything. That is why it cannot be tampered with. First-line charge. If you don't take care of these responsibilities, you don't have any right to execute any project. And the people who made it so, they are very wise. Because a pensioner has more than 10 or 20 persons lined up behind him to benefit from that payment. So it's not something you leave whenever you feel like you pay it. It is in the consolidated revenue fund of the state and must be paid. And it's also constitutional. I've cited section 210 of the Constitution. Something that is as important as areas of pension and gratuity is in the Constitution because of the importance. So let me continue, please. As stated in our last news commentary, government should muster the political will to pay these retirement benefits. It is a sad commentary that more than 3 years of the present administration These issues have continued to linger and reverberate for failure to address them. Invariably, the trust and confidence of pensioners have seriously been eroded as a result. We therefore urge government to, as a matter of urgency, start immediate payment of these retirement benefits. Even if she wants to start with gratuity, no problem. But what we are owed are arrears of pension and gratuity. But if you say you want to pay gratuity, no problem. Start with whatever, but our arrears remains there because we continue to pursue it even till tomorrow. That's the gospel truth. It's our legitimate. It's not gratis. It's our entitlement. It's a debt owed to us by government. So we therefore urge government to, as a matter of urgency, start immediate payment of these retirement benefits, even if she wants to start with gratuity. Fulfillment of a promise is the work of salvation. That's the word Bible said. Further delay will further devalue these already grossly devalued retirement benefits. As of today, many pensioners have died without receiving these benefits. And pensioners are dying on daily basis. Even for mere medication. All of us, we know how hard the system is, the country is, economic situation. Even to eat now is difficult. Talk less of going to buy drugs. And look at the cost. Many are dying for illnesses that they can easily manage. But if you don't have money, you won't go to the drugstores and say, let them give you drugs on credit. Everybody is trying to survive. So the credit may not easily be there. Many are dying, many pensioners are dying on daily basis. That's the gospel truth. Based on information and reports we get. So those still alive need this payment to feed, buy drugs, and attend to other subsistence needs and health challenges. Others need these payments to start or complete their projects, especially their retirement homes. Normally, where you, what do you call it? Gratuities is paid in bulk. You know, for completed projects. By the time you leave service, you go and maybe roof your house or do this and do that and do that. Or to start a new life. You don't have this, you don't have this. What do you do? It's most unfortunate and pathetic. So, ironically, since last year, former local government chairmen and councillors who served only 2 years under previous administrations have been paid their entitlements by this present administration. 2 years, previous administration, you have paid them. Now, we are now asking, what an injustice that pensioners who retired after 35 years of service or on attaining 60 years of age are treated with disdain, levity, and ignominy. Somebody served the state in his youth, 35 years or 60 years of age, and look at what we have been battling with our retirement benefits. Our due entitlement, legitimate entitlement. We are not asking government, dash us 1 naira. And we are not asking, we won't allow government to take 1 naira from us. Give us what is due to us. You have settled councillors, you have settled former councillors and the chairman. Just those who served only 2 years. On the effect of his failure to do the needful to pensioners, we remind Governor Alex Otti of the following excerpts from his said open letter to Governor Alex Otti. Quote, he said, "You can see that the spiral effect of your government's underlying failure to pay Abia workers and pensioners their salaries and pension arrears is horrendous and far-reaching. Therefore, I am appealing to you to have mercy on Abia workers and pensioners and show some humanity. We are also appealing, whatever sin we have committed against this government, if any, let the government forgive us. We are on our knees. Anything that will make government to do the needful for us, we are prepared. We are on our knees, even though we didn't commit any offense. Anything at all, whatsoever. Let government have pity on pensioners. So in the same vein, we appeal to Governor Alex Otti to have mercy and show humanity to other state pensioners. We urge him to put himself in our position and determine if he will accept and enjoy same treatment as currently being meted out to us. On the issue of arrears of pension, which the governor had also promised to clear, but later jettisoned, it will be addressed at the appropriate time. Suffice it to say that as of today, 99.9% of pensioners who retired before the inception of this administration in 2023 are still owed their arrears of pension. Arrears of pension. What this administration paid in March 2024 was her own arrears from June 2023 to March 2024, when she paid only half monthly pension. We hereby call on government to set up even a judicial panel of inquiry to show the seriousness we attach to this, to verify the alleged payment, so that any pensioner who makes a false claim in this regard will go to prison directly. That's why we are calling for a judicial, not even ordinary panel, judicial, so that if you make any statement on oath that is a lie, from there you go to prison. And I have promised, I will be the first person. Okay, Khan will be the first person to appear before that judicial committee of inquiry to show what we are talking about. We are not politicians. We are not exaggerating anything. God knows. Set up that committee. Now, we have our papers. From the little we've even compiled, there is no pensioner that is not owed. In fact, as a matter of fact, some of us, our arrears are greater than this gratuity we are talking about. You talk of 60 months. Calculate it based on your entitlement. And somebody is saying that nobody's. When did you pay? When did you pay? Now set up this committee to verify. Start with me, okay, Kanu? Because I know the figure I was expecting. I know how much I paid, that was paid. It's there, it's in the bank. And then tell me how you claim it. I don't want to call it 419. Tell me, when did you clear it? When? And you are trying to sweep it under the carpet. Nobody's owed arrears. It's unacceptable. That's why we say, look, we will come out. Whatever it will take, we will continue to pursue this matter. Because it is our legitimate entitlement. So what he paid, he said he has cleared. Look, when this administration came in May 2023, he started paying us half monthly pension. This administration, half monthly pension. Assuming you are earning 100,000. This government was paying 50,000. From June 2023 to March 2024. And the expectation is that since he's going to clear the entire term, that is when everything is going to be cleared. Lo and behold, on that March 2024, what was paid to us was his own arrears, which he accumulated from this June 2023 to March 2024. And that is what I want him to set up a committee. Find out whom did you pay. And how much did you pay? I know my figure, as I said. So when you say you are cleared, where did you clear? So finally, the governor is urged to fulfill his campaign promises to other pensioners in particular and Abians in general. Why did I say Abians in general? You know, at a particular point, this issue of arrears of pension and gratuity was not only the case of pensioners. The entire Abians were quite sympathetic to our plight under the previous administration. That's why the thing entered campaign promises. Very sympathetic. Our families, they were also part of the fight. So it's a promise you made, not only to patients, to even Abia. And that gathered huge votes for you. Because we wanted that change. On no ground was that administration that put us into this problem continue. All of us, we came out. And lo and behold, An anticlimax. It's never heard of. So, it is he who is alive that can appreciate and enjoy the good infrastructures the governor is putting in place. We appeal that issues surrounding our arrears of pension and gratuity should not be allowed to be exploited by anybody for political gains. Abia Pensioners Forum, which is this forum, is a pressure group under the Nigeria Union of Pensioners, Abia State Council. Now, that Nigeria Union of Pensioners, Abia State Council, is the umbrella body. We are not different from that body. We are not at loggerheads. We are not pursuing a different objective. The problem is this. If you remember the genesis of this, by the time His Excellency came into office, he started engaging them in negotiation over these payments. And meanwhile, as they were negotiating, they kept the entire pensioners in the dark. I remember the present chairman of NUP in the state used to be a member of this Abia Pensioners Forum. I had to remove him when we started seeing how they were behaving. So, consistently, we're asking, let us know, give us feedback on what you are talking with the governor. We are entitled as a matter of right. Everything was, they caged everything. Lo and behold, my brother, I'm just trying to give us a little historical background so that you understand what we are doing and whatever. Yes. Now, lo and behold, my brother, when that payment was made, they purported the payment which in March 2024, when the governor said he has cleared. When we saw that it was only his administration's accumulation. Now we started asking this our leadership, NUP, State School, because they said nothing. These are people that went and negotiated and whatever. We didn't know anything. So we went to them. I said, look, are we still expecting more payment or have they paid? For them to grant us audience was difficult. Very, very difficult. That was when they were staying at Abia Street. To get audience with them is like going to seek audience with the president of Nigeria. I said, this is supposed to be our body. People taking care of our issues. Now, they kept us in the dark again. And we started asking, this payment that was made, what of the arrears? What are you doing about it? Nothing. We went to them 2 times on this issue. Nothing happened. And you wouldn't see them protesting, saying this and that and that. There was vacuum, information vacuum. Deliberately. That will tell you what they're going to do. I'm coming, please. Just give me a few minutes. I will enlighten us on this. Now, when there was this information vacuum, then we started asking, and one of the requests we made, that by then we had heard that there was an agreement they signed with government. Please listen carefully so that you follow. When you are reporting, you know. I want to enlighten us. We said we had you sign agreement because by then when we now saw the shortfalls, we started asking. Now information came that they said they signed agreement with government, and that in that agreement they waived or forfeited these arrears of pension and even gratuity. We said, on what ground do you have that competence to have done that? These are personal payments. These are personal debts to each pensioner. Nobody on earth can negotiate it for another person. It's personal to everybody, to each pensioner. You don't have that competence. Now, can we see a copy of the agreement? They say it's a top secret.
They say it's classified. You purportedly sign an agreement on my behalf, and you said I can't see it. That is madness. That is madness. We succeeded in getting a copy of that agreement. In fact, our last press briefing, or the other one, I showed you, we distributed it. Lo and behold, in that agreement, the purported memorandum of agreement, it was written there, black and white, that they forfeited our areas of operation and gratuity. I said, are you mad? That's why they were now, caging everything. And they were saying nothing, absolutely nothing concerning for the activities of this forum. This issue would have been dead longest time, because there was nobody to champion it. That was how we came up. That was how we came up. Abia Pensioners Forum. Because of the information vacuum, this Abia Pensioners Forum, it has been in existence since 2018. But when it was opened, it was for few friends in the service who have now retired to share information and so on. But because of the information vacuum, pensioners in the state, we are now asking, everybody was looking, what is happening? Where can we get the information? What is happening? This and that. People started trooping into this platform to get information on what is happening. So that is how, and the number is running to hundreds. Do you understand? So that's how we started. Now, there is this other body. I've talked to you about NUP, the state. This is how they rubbished themselves. Even till tomorrow, you can't even hear them say anything concerning pensioners. But they still want to go back to the office to remain. To do what? Now, there's another body called Concerned Pensioners. That is the body actually the government is using to create divide and rule. Concerned pensioners. Do you know that, gentlemen, do you know that as of March 2024, when this payment was made, these people went on the street, went to churches, thanking, the government has fulfilled the promises, this and that and that. I said, are you all right? Now, these are people, as of today, they are also part of our prayers. Government, please, pay us. But you said that it wasn't owing you. The government wasn't owing you. So why are you now asking to be paid? And this is a body that the aides of the governor will comfortably go, like last December or so. I think he promised he gave them another 500,000 naira for their Christmas, whatever. And many other things that happens. So usually, if you are not very careful, you think, look, like my brother asked, you think there is factionalization. There is none. As far as we are concerned, Abia Pensioners Forum is not a faction under NUP. NUP remains our parent body in the state. We are mere pressure group under them. They remain our parent body. We are just a pressure group. And because of that vacuum they left, that is what we came up to. And that is why we are here today. And because of our presence, remember that this thing was said to have been waived or forfeited. The pressure came on 22nd of February 2025. The governor now promised to revisit that agreement and then say he will pay gratuity. That gratuity you promised since that time, we are still fighting for it. So that is where we are. In fact, we are not strangers in Nigeria. And we are also not strangers to what is happening even in our courts. You see, well, unfortunately, people say, you know when you enter the court, you don't know when you leave. And this man, in fact, let me tell you, the truth is that the government, if the governor, even urged us to go to court, we knew where he was driving us to. Because the moment you enter court, this press conference cannot hold. We cannot say, it becomes sub judice. You cannot say anything. It will become contempt of court. You wait until, even if it takes 20 years, until it is decided. Governor was saying, people should go to court. I will say, no, sir. We can't even take the government to court. This is our government. You don't build a house and go and destroy it. We instituted this government. We contributed. So we don't even want you to be. That's why each time we say we are not even confrontational. Please, we will not go there. So pushing us there, we are now dragging ourselves out because we know the implication. That's the gospel truth about it. So secondly, on your first your first question, actually that question should actually go to the governor as to why, governor, why are you dragging your foot on this? Because even in our news commentary last time and even in address, we have all muster the political will to do this. Muster it. It is not there. You have paid these councillors, local government chairman, who served under reverse administration. Why is our own different? Who served only 2 years? Why is ours different? Which scarcity? It cannot be scarcity of fund. It is just that the political will is not there. And maybe he has looked at it. These people, well, there's nothing they can do. They are spent forces, which they usually describe us with. They are spent forces. They can't create any issue. Unlike these other political personalities that we are settled. Which is most unfortunate. Because any community that doesn't have aged people, that community is doomed. And all of us here, we are praying that we will grow to our ripe old ages. So retiring from service is not a sin. In fact, it is a thing of pride that I have finished my service to the state and then I've come back to rest. It's just like it can only happen in this climb. Other climes, it doesn't happen. Senior citizens are regarded highly. Go to America, any soldier who fought any war, that person is a pampered. So why is it that you look at these people, they are spent forces, then you can treat them anyhow? And let me tell you, all of us, there is no home in Abia State, or even a standard home that doesn't have a pension. Then if he doesn't want us to exist, let him bring knife and kill all of us at the same time, so that the money can remain. Issue of money is not the issue, is not the problem. Look at the inflow as of today. They are receiving more than 5 times what the previous administrations were getting. Yet the same thing remains. So it's not issue of money. It's the issue of not mastering the political will. And we had when we started this agitation, we gave government 3 options. 1, please fulfill your campaign promises in 2015, 2019, 2023. Or, as an alternative, if you cannot pay it at once, please pay it by installments. So that if you can come to the say, okay, every month we are mapping out 1 billion or 2 billion to settle. Wherever that one reaches in that month, you draw your line. Next month, you continue until you won't even know when this is paid. Pay by installments, no problem. Or the 3rd option, please, this money is not these areas of pension and grant. They are not your accumulation. You inherited it, and you made political capital out of it. And we are saying, if you have decided not to pay, please leave it as you inherited it. For future benevolent administration that may come in. But don't tell us that we have waived it, we have forfeited it. That is no longer in your books. It is a lie. It can never happen. Leave it as you have inherited. 3 options. Leave it as you have inherited it. For future administration. But you don't say you have not paid and you say it's no longer there. I don't want to use the word 419. No. It's not there. That's the point. That's the gospel truth. It is not, and which I addressed. There was this vacuum. Deliberate. Nigerians, I don't know. We continue to cry this and that. But when you find yourself in a position to work for the people. You don't. I think they are contented with the check-off dues they take every month. As of today, my brother, you don't hear anything about them. This issue we are talking about. They have even in their press, they have never said anything. And are we going to fold our arms and continue to wait for somebody who is not representing you, who is just eating your money and not doing anything for you? I would say no. We have to pick up the gauntlet. And as I said, I will continue to maintain it. We are a pressure group. Every organization has a pressure group that urges the body, please, let us do this, let us do this. And I told you the efforts we made. And they refused. Up to this moment. I know that is an area people can ask questions, but that is the gospel truth. Do we continue to wait for them ad infinitum? People who are not prepared. I mean, you can't imagine. You resign from there if you cannot be. In fact, the governor even last time during his service addressed them. Said that they are what? He used a different. They were fraudulent. That he will not deal with them again, and so on and so forth. And then, if you are a person of honor, the best thing would have been, look, my people, you are leading a people, you are not leading yourself. More than 15,000 pensioners in Abia State. Look, since it is like this, let me step aside, so that a new face can come in, and then we'll continue to pursue. You are not doing anything. I said absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. 100% nothing. Not that they are trying. Absolutely nothing. That's why I asked you that question. And then you have come back to say you are going to be re-elected. On what ground? It is because of, like Nigeria as a whole, due to our docility. We continue to tolerate. These things comes and goes. It comes and comes. They rewind themselves in every 4 years. Otherwise, if people are determined to do the necessary things, we can check even our politicians. But unfortunately, nobody wants to die. Nobody wants to get missing. So that is the unfortunate situation. Now, as I'm speaking with you, talking to you, my brother, there is no entitlement of pensioners that we've heard that these people have taken up even with the government. I started in this address by telling you when the subsidy was removed, there were certain payments that government, even federal government, released to states and whatever to cushion the effect. As of today, not even 1 naira. They have not even discussed it. There this one they call this subsidy allowance arising from the subsidy removal. There this other one called wage award. There is still another one. Then you don't even talk of this, what I read in Section 210, subsection 3 of the Constitution, which says pension must be reviewed every 5 years or whenever there is salary review in the civil service. It is in the Constitution. The last time what our pension was is more than 20 years. So there is work to be done. And if you cannot do it, step aside. You are holding the fate of more than 15,000 persons. So it's most unfortunate, my brother. And we cannot fold our arms to wait for them. Yes, you are the official. In fact, we have even reached our national body. They are aware of this. But for the intervention of there was a time they came. Because these people were doing nothing. The national had to come. We have been in communication with the national over these issues. So the right thing is that they ought to. What are we getting from what we are doing? We are disturbing ourselves. Inconveniences are everything. We don't have any reason. We are still under them until tomorrow. But take up whatever you have assigned, or job you have been assigned to do. Please do it.